Well, the Oklahoma County Jail has had a history of complaints, including conditions inside the jail and the 16 reported inmate deaths last year. Last month, a new interim CEO was named following the resignation announcement of Greg Williams, whose last day will be January 19th. That interim CEO is Major Brandy Garner, who joins us now live. Good morning, and thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, happy to have you here. Now, we do have a lot to talk about, but before we get to that, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and the experience that you're bringing to this position.
Well, I started my career as a reserve for Cleveland County Sheriff's Office, and in that role I really thought that I wanted to progress to be in patrol. That's what every person wants to be when they become a cop, right? And we would have our meetings at the jail in Cleveland County, and they would continually try to recruit me. And it took a while for them to convince me because I just didn't think it was something that I wanted to do. And when I finally gave in, I found out this is where I'm supposed to be. And I didn't want to go anywhere else. My background, the way that I was raised, the things that I experienced up to that point really prepared me to interact with the people that were housed there. And I felt like I could bring something to the table as far as showing them empathy and helping them be better. And so I worked there, and I worked my way up the ranks, and in the end of January of 2022 I decided that I wanted to come to Oklahoma County, and I really hope to bring all of what I learned there to Oklahoma County and make it a better place.
Before we continue here, I want to make sure that we can hear you correctly. I'm so sorry to do this. Can we just slide your hair over a little bit? It's touching the mic, so we want to make sure that we can hear you clearly. Okay, there we go. Okay, so continuing here, I mentioned some of the jail criticism that the jail has faced here over the past few years, and we're talking the inmate deaths, conditions inside the jail. Last year there was a sexual assault, questions about supervision and staffing within the jail. As you take over as interim CEO, how do you plan to address these issues?
Well, I've already been in the facility for several months, and I've had a chance to kind of look at what is happening there and what our issues are. And being in this position, I think I have far better opportunity to influence our staff and really create a culture of professionalism and compassion. Those are the two buzzwords that I'm really pushing towards our staff right now, and we'll definitely be making some changes. We've made quite a few already that I think are positive, and we'll continue going in that direction.
Any big major changes that you hope that you can implement this year?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I have a lot on my radar. I'm looking at our staffing. I'm looking if we can maybe reevaluate how we are assigning people to be a little bit more efficient. I'm looking at things that we can do to improve access to medical care and mental health care. There's a lot of changes that can be made that I'm willing to really explore. And I'm a outside the box thinker, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
And speaking of mental health here, county commissioners just recently approved some ARPA funding for a new mental health facility at the new jail. Talk about the impact that this will have on the community.
I think it's going to have a great impact. When people come into our facility, they have to be medically fit, right? And we don't really assess their mental well-being as far as are they fit for being incarcerated mentally. And I think having this available is going to be able to make it to where we can evaluate, are you stable enough mentally to be incarcerated? So let's try to get them mentally and physically well first, and then we'll take care of the incarceration side. And just having that available to us to be able to move people into that facility if they become unstable at any point, I think is going to be a huge blessing.
And as we talk about this new jail, voters approved it last year. Any new updates on any possible sites or efforts to get that going?
Not yet. I know that there are some meetings that are scheduled very soon, and they'll be looking at that, and I'm very excited to take part in that.
Let's talk about this. The Citizens Advisory Board made some recommendations recently to the Jail Trust, and that included things like more time with loved ones, a better orientation for detainees. Has the Jail Trust looked over those recommendations? Where does it stand?
So the Jail Trust has looked over the recommendations, but I'm happy to report a lot of those things are already on my radar, and some of them I've already taken action on. Things like time out of the cells or time with your family, spending time with your family, that's something that's really easy to fix. We can just give them an extra visit as they recommended. But most of those changes I'm completely on board with. All of the changes I'm on board with, but most of them I've already kind of taken some action on.
Okay. And you are the interim CEO right now. Are you looking to hopefully get that permanent position? Talk to us about your future plans here.
So I don't officially take over till January 20th, but yes, I plan to come in and get the job done, and I'm going to show everybody what right looks like, and I hope that they will consider me for that position full time.
Okay. Major Brandi Garner, we appreciate your time coming in and talking to us about your vision for the jail as you take over as interim CEO, and thanks again so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course.